The restaurant's crystal chandeliers shimmered like fallen stars, reflecting in the polished marble floors where laughter, gossip, and the faint clink of glasses filled the air. It was the kind of place where billionaires came to show off, where the scent of wealth lingered heavier than the perfume. And among the elite crowd sat Ethan Carter, handsome, confident, and infamously proud. The youngest billionaire in New York, known for building an empire out of nothing but ambition and arrogance. Tonight, he wasn't here for business. Tonight, he was on a blind date. The waiter pulled out a chair across from him, and in walked a young woman wearing a simple lavender dress. It wasn't designer, it wasn't dazzling. It was plain, soft, and clearly handmade. For a second, the restaurant seemed to slow down. People looked up, their eyes silently judging her simplicity in a world dripping with diamonds. Ethan's eyes narrowed. His date, Anna Collins, looked nothing like the glamorous models he was used to. Her shoes were scuffed, her dress modest, her makeup minimal. And yet, she smiled, nervously, kindly, as if she didn't belong there, but wanted to try anyway. Ethan leaned back, crossing his arms. He smirked, the kind of smirk that could slice through a person's confidence. Well, he thought silently, this should be interesting. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that true beauty is deeper than appearances, then pause for a moment. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe button to support more stories that remind us what really matters in life. As Anna sat down, Ethan's phone buzzed. A message from his friend popped up on the screen. Send a picture. Bet she's another gold digger. Ethan didn't even hesitate. He took a discreet photo under the table and sent it, typing, "You won't believe her dress." His friend's laughing emojis came flooding back in seconds. But Anna didn't see any of that. She was too busy trying to calm her trembling hands. Her heart pounded, not because of who Ethan was, but because she'd almost backed out a dozen times before coming. It had been years since she'd gone out on a date, and she knew she wasn't what people called beautiful anymore. The waiter returned with a menu, but Ethan didn't even look up. "You can order whatever you want," he said flatly. "I'm sure it'll be better than that dress." The words slipped out sharper than he intended, but he didn't take them back. Anna froze, her smile faltering just slightly. Her fingers touched the edge of her sleeve nervously. I made it myself," she said softly, still trying to keep the warmth in her tone. Ethan didn't reply. He just chuckled under his breath. Around them, laughter continued, forks clinked, and chandeliers glimmered. But for Anna, everything felt smaller. The noise faded, replaced by the sound of her own heartbeat. She wanted to leave, but something inside told her to stay. She had promised herself this was the night she would try to live again, to step out, to be seen, even if the world looked away. Ethan's arrogance filled the air like smoke. He kept checking his watch, barely asking questions, offering sarcastic remarks. "You know," he said finally, swirling the wine in his glass, "most women I go out with wear designer. Gucci, Versace, Dior, things like that. But this," his eyes scanned her from head to toe. "This is something else." Anna's eyes glistened, but she didn't defend herself. She simply whispered, "You're right. This dress isn't worth much, but it means everything to me." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Everything?" he said mockingly. "It looks like it cost $10. She looked down, touching the soft fabric gently. "Actually," she said, "it cost me my fear." That made Ethan pause. He didn't understand what she meant, but before he could ask, the waiter returned with their food, breaking the strange silence. Anna picked at her plate quietly while Ethan scrolled through his phone, completely uninterested. He didn't notice how she winced slightly when the candlelight flickered too close to her. He didn't notice how her breathing changed every time someone laughed too loud. He didn't notice that her eyes, though soft, carried 1,000 unshed tears. Halfway through dinner, Ethan's friends messaged again. "She's still there? You must be dying, bro." He laughed softly to himself. Anna looked up. "Something funny?" she asked. Ethan shrugged. "Just a joke." And then, in that same moment, the waiter accidentally spilled a bit of wine on the table. It splashed near Anna's sleeve, staining the delicate lavender fabric. She jumped a little, instinctively pulling her arm back. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," the waiter apologized. Anna shook her head quickly, forcing a smile. "It's okay, really." But Ethan's next words came cold. "Don't worry," he said to the waiter with a smirk. "I doubt that dress can get any worse." Something inside Anna broke. She placed her fork down slowly, her hands trembling. "You think you know what beauty is," she whispered. Ethan looked up, confused. Her eyes met his, calm but filled with quiet strength. "You look at people and see clothes, faces, money, but you don't see hearts." And then she reached up and removed her wig. The restaurant seemed to freeze. Gasps rippled through the tables. Underneath, her scalp was nearly bare, a few soft strands of new hair just starting to grow. Ethan's eyes widened in shock. Anna's voice trembled, but she didn't hide anymore. "I had cancer," she said softly. "For 2 years, I lost everything. My hair, my body's strength, my confidence. This dress. I made it the night I decided I wanted to live again. To go out. To smile. To not hide." Her words hung in the air like a prayer. The laughter that once filled the room turned into an aching silence. Ethan couldn't move. Every mocking word he had said replayed in his mind, echoing like guilt. "I'm sorry," he whispered instinctively, but she shook her head. "You don't have to be. I didn't come here for your pity. I came here because I thought maybe kindness still existed." Ethan felt something unfamiliar claw at his chest. Shame. For the first time, the billionaire who thought he had everything realized how small his heart had become. "I didn't know," he said quietly. "I never thought." Anna smiled faintly. "You didn't ask." She stood up slowly, adjusting her wig in her hand. "I hope you find someone who makes you see life differently," she said, her voice calm. "Someone who teaches you what really matters." And with that, she turned and walked toward the door. But something in Ethan snapped awake. He watched her leave, her fragile frame wrapped in that lavender dress, walking with quiet dignity through the same crowd that had once sneered. He couldn't move for a long time. When he finally stood, his throat was dry. He walked out of the restaurant, leaving his untouched dinner and a heavy silence behind. That night he couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face. Soft, tired, brave. The next morning, instead of heading to his office in a penthouse tower, he found himself driving toward a small hospital. He asked around, found out where Anna volunteered. She wasn't a patient anymore. She was helping others who were. When he walked into the cancer support center, she was sitting with a little girl who had lost her hair too, tying a small ribbon on the child's wrist and whispering something that made her smile. Ethan stood in the doorway, guilt and admiration colliding inside him. When Anna noticed him, she didn't look surprised, only curious. He walked over quietly, holding something in his hand. "I wanted to say thank you," he said softly, "for reminding me that not all scars are ugly." He handed her a small gift box. Inside was a folded piece of paper, a check. She frowned. "I don't want your money, Ethan." He shook his head. "It's not money for you. It's for this center. I realized last night how many people need light, and I've spent too long investing in everything that doesn't shine." Anna looked at him for a long moment. The arrogance was gone from his voice. He looked like a man stripped of pride standing in front of truth. "I was cruel," he admitted, "but I want to learn how to be better. Maybe, if you'd let me help here sometimes, I could start." Her eyes softened. She nodded slowly. "Help then. Not to erase your guilt, but to change your heart." From that day on, Ethan began showing up quietly, without cameras or headlines. He helped clean rooms, deliver supplies, read stories to kids, even sat beside patients who just needed someone to listen. He didn't tell anyone who he was, and slowly something inside him healed too. Months passed, and the hospital wing that Anna worked in was transformed. New beds, brighter walls, a garden where patients could sit and breathe. The plaque outside read, "The Lavender Hope Center, inspired by courage." Ethan insisted the name was Anna's idea, but everyone knew whose heart it had come from. One spring evening, after a long day, Anna walked outside to find Ethan sitting on a bench in the garden. He was holding a small box. When she sat beside him, he smiled nervously. I kept the picture I took that night, he said quietly, the one I sent to make fun of you. He opened the box showing her the printed photo. But now, when I look at it, I see the woman who changed everything I believed about beauty. Anna looked at the photo for a moment, then smiled gently. People can change, Ethan, but only if they really want to. He nodded, his eyes soft. I want to. Because of you, the sun dipped behind the horizon, bathing the garden in soft orange light. Around them, laughter of children echoed, the air filled with warmth and peace. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt human again. Not a billionaire, not a name, but a man who had finally learned the price of a heart.